Jen. Today what we're going to focus on is the proper mechanics of how to do a lunge. The importance, what I'm looking for in a lunge, is to really, in your case, target your glutes. So with most people, they make the mistake of doing a lunge where it's very simply, I step out, I drop my leg down to the floor, and I walk either across the floor, step out, drop into a lunge, and come back. Okay? So the best thing I can do is explain to you what's going to be going on with the skeleton, your bones in your body, and what alignment you're trying to get to, so I can obviously get into the area I want to target, which in this case is more glutes, less thighs. I know you told me you don't want your legs any bigger. So, when I step, no matter whether I'm walking, stationary, etc., I always want to try and get a balance, and I'm going to put the pressure right here through the heel and the arch of the foot, as opposed to on the ball of the foot or the toes. When I land the pressure here, I want this bone perpendicular to the floor. This is going to be at a right angle when I drop into my lunge, because by doing this, it's going to enable me to move off the hip joint here. The glutes come from the pelvis to the femur, so if I move up this joint, I'm going to incorporate the glutes into the movement. A mistake most people make is when they do their lunge, they step and either come up too short and they collapse the knee joint this way. You're going to feel a lot more pressure in your knee, but in your case, you're going to develop a lot more into your quads, your thighs, which is what you're not looking to do. So if I go too long, it's going to be the same thing where, again, the alignment is off, the pressure's on the knee, mostly on the quad, misses the hip joint, and I start moving the leg this way, back and forth from here, as opposed to feeling the femur, thigh bone, go up and down in the hip joint. So if I were to hang this bone like this off of this joint, this would be perpendicular to the floor. So every step you take, you always want to get this front leg to a perfect right angle, feel the pressure through the heel and the arch of the foot, and remember, very important, the patella, your kneecap, always toward the big toe and second toe. So don't go this way and this way. So if you step on this angle, your knee's going to go that way. If you step on this angle, your knee's going to follow. The back leg is going to be relaxed. Keep a slight bend to the knee from here. Keep the pelvis in neutral. So if you're lunging across the floor, when you hit your bottom position, it's going to look like this. This would be too short. That would be too long of a reach. Always landing. The back leg is going to help you based on how far you step. The farther I step, the longer I have to extend on this back leg here to reach. So if I stepped out short, I'd have to bring this leg in a little bit to reach. If I step out farther, I'd have to lengthen this leg out to reach. But again, you can see it all moves off the hip joint in the rear leg, just like it moves off the hip joint in the front leg. Okay? So we're going to try a couple basic lunges, starting out with some fundamentals. Okay, so we're going to do a stationary lunge. So let me show you what we want to do. We want to take our left foot, we want to step forward on the left foot. Okay? Now what we want to do is bring the knee till it's over top of the ankle, here, then lowering down through the hips into the lunge. And bring it back up. Bring it forward, knee stops here, drop and release from the hip. Okay, a little more forward on it, down. Now what I want to do with the hands, bring it back up again, bring it back up again. What I want to do with the hands, I'm going to take this hand, I'm going to use it. I'm going to put it right here. I want to sit down into this glute, so I want to feel the muscle engage. So I want to come forward again, and then down. Wait before you go forward, bring it up. Come forward on the hips first, and down into the glute, and push back off. Pressure through the heel and the arch. Knee comes straight forward to the big toes. Come forward first, and push back up. Come forward, and push back up. Come forward, two more, and push back up. Come forward, bend from the knee, drop from the hip, and bring it up, and step it out. That is the basic beginner move. It's something we're going to build up to since you haven't really been training. Maybe we'll do 12 or 15 of those. And then from there, we'll go on to something a little more advanced level we're going to go to. Not today, but in time, we're going to get to what is called a front lunge or a stepping lunge. So we're going to do the same thing. This one gets a little more complicated because the first one, you're obviously in the same position. The weight is not controlled, or maybe say 60 pounds. This one's going to be advancing the weight, making it a little more intense. Weight's going to get heavier. Movement's going to get quicker, more difficult to follow. You're now going to want to be able to step out. When you step out, you got to plant that foot, heel and arch, and you got to track where the toe is with the knee. Again, what I discussed with the skeleton was the back leg is my trigger leg. Either it's going to go longer or shorter to help me reach. If I step out and make the mistake of coming too short, I release my back leg through the hip, and I can come down and fit. If I step farther out, I extend up my back leg, and I can still reach to that perfect right angle. So the key is, again, I got to be quick enough to know, always right angle front leg, but what do I do with the back leg as far as bringing the leg back and forth here, extending or pulling in through the hip to be able to reach. Be very conscious when you step, again, not to get the weight forward on your foot this way, losing your balance because it's all on the knee. Step, decelerate into the glute, step out. Step, decelerate into the glute, and step out. Let's try a couple of those. And step out. Beautiful. Drop in. Again, your hand cueing on the glute. 5 more. Beautiful. 4. 3. 2. 1 more. And resting. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to progress to one more movement, which is going to be a walking lunge or linear lunge. This one, we're going to start a little farther back. Same movement I was doing, but I'm going to continue to walk forward. So again, I have to be conscious of how far I'm stepping. Hit my alignment, always hip width apart. Step, come through, step again, come through, step again. Again, be conscious that the pressure is on the heel and the arch of the front foot, not crushing the knee over top of the toes, and use your hands to cue. So you're going to go to the left side, cue here, right side, cue here. Always engaging, whether my glutes are working and moving or not. Hip width apart on the feet, step, just to right angles, a little short on that one step. Step. Beautiful. Okay. Now, advancements of that movement would be to take a kettlebell. As I'm walking across the floor, I can add on to that exercise by threading through, threading through, threading through. But again, if we can't get the basic lunge done right, then all this is never going to happen. Step out, thread through. It doesn't matter which hand. Thread, try not to lean over. Beautiful. Beautiful. One more. Reverse. Okay, bring it back here. Another modification to that would be to take the kettlebell and you're going to rock it like it's a purse. Okay? On this one, I want to use for my obliques. I want to rotate my body back and forth. So I'm going to step out, rotate across the body here, rotate across the body here, rotate across the body. This is now giving me torque that's pulling me left to right, giving me better balance, but I'm still trying to have my legs go straight forward as the upper body rotates left to right. Step out, rock the purse. Perfect. Check your lunge. Beautiful. And walk out. Beautiful. Excellent. So there's some basic things that we'll be doing training-wise. And again, we always start out with fundamental movements. How to target a muscle, what muscle we're trying to target. Then from there, obviously, as you progress, we progress with you, where beginners are going to do stationary lunges where you might be locked in here, and it may be very challenging to do 10 of these. When they get easy for you, then you'll be stepping out and stepping back. If that gets easy for you, you may be going to the side, you may be adding kettlebells, you may be swinging side to side, but again, the progression will be based on, one, what your goal is, and next and foremost, what your fitness level is. So no matter how much you progress, we always have a level to take you to beyond where we go. Okay, so what we're going to focus on now is something I created a long time ago called Afterburn. What that deals with is energy system which secretes lactic acid. Lactic acid is that burning sensation you get in your legs that I found over time is very useful for helping people lose weight faster. So what we're going to do is controlled lunge or controlled movement. So step into your normal lunge here. And we want to keep constant tension on the muscle. Get that burn or the lactic acid secreting and continue with it as long as we can sustain. Okay, so we drop down into it, keep the tension on, come up about halfway and back down again. And halfway and back down. So never let the tension totally come off the muscle so it's engaged for an extended period of time. Anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes or 4 minutes depending on what kind of shape someone's in. So if you're overweight, deconditioned, etc., obviously you'll have a harder time doing more of this, but the better shape you're in, the longer you can go, the faster the weight comes off. The good thing about it is it's not impact. So for me, it's one of the most effective ways of leaning down overweight people, but also for you, I don't necessarily want to get bigger, I just want to get leaner. So we'll do 5 more. We go 5, 4, 3, 2, I see that burning, and switch. We'll do the other leg and do the same thing. So again, with that, we'll go back and forth. 3 or 4 reps into it, you start to feel the burn. But again, the focus is the longer it burns, the more effective it's going to be. Okay?